If you're already at least a little bit familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript, you at least have heard of React and you know that it's a front-end library where you can break down your interface into components. So you're familiar with all of those basic concepts, but maybe you're confused on how to combine all of those puzzle pieces into a meaningful project. So in this video, we're going to learn about the MERN stack, but let's not even worry about the technical details of what the MERN stack is right now. We'll cover that organically and gradually throughout the entirety of this video. Right now, I want you to focus on what we're going to build. So here's a sneak peek preview of the finished product of what we're going to build together in this video. So we've got this public listing of animals, and anyone in the world can view this page. And the browser here is not loading even a single ounce of JavaScript. So this is just traditional server-generated HTML, and that's great when a page doesn't need the interactivity of JavaScript. So server-side HTML like this has lots of benefits. Search engine optimization boosts, maximum accessibility, great initial render speeds, so on and so forth. However, for an area where we do want the interactivity of JavaScript, if you're the owner of the website, you can visit this admin page. You can access it with the super secure username of admin and a password value of admin. And now when you're here, you can create new pets, you can update existing pets, delete a pet. And this admin page, this is entirely driven by React and client-side JavaScript. So that way, all of these CRUD actions we're performing, they happen in real time without any old-fashioned, traditional full page reloads or refreshes. And what's really cool here is these animal cards, right? Each little box for each animal. Whether we're seeing that on this admin page or back on the public homepage, those are both being powered by the same React component, the same bit of JSX. And I think learning how to leverage the same component file in both environments like that is going to be super empowering for you. Now, for persisting the data, all of this is getting stored into a MongoDB database. And finally, we're also going to learn how to let the admin user upload a photo for each animal. And we're going to resize the photo in memory so that the file we actually store on disk is a nice small file size. The point of building this project is for you to be able to sink your teeth into the MERN stack without things being super hypothetical, right? So yes, this project is simple, but it has just enough complexity that it feels a little bit real world. So yes, this is a long video, but if you've watched a few videos on the MERN stack before and they didn't really connect the dots for you, I'm hoping this video can be the one where things finally click. Anyways, without further ado, let's jump into the action. So where do we begin? Well, let's start with our server, as it's sort of the home base that connects everything together. We're going to create a server that's powered by Node.js. So if you don't already have Node installed on your computer, you're going to need to pause this video and get it installed right now. This video is not a tutorial on installing Node. You just need to visit the official website and then come back to this video once it's installed. Okay, but once it is installed, let's go ahead and create a new folder somewhere on your computer. So for example, I'm going to create a brand new empty folder on my desktop. The name doesn't matter, but why don't we call it maybe MERN-project. Okay, and then go ahead and open up this folder in VS Code. In the left-hand side, the File Explorer, let's go ahead and create a new file. So I'll just right click, new file. There's nothing special about this name, but just so you and I are on the same page, why don't we name it server.js. In this brand new empty file, let's just say console.log, maybe hello from node. Go ahead and save that, and now open up your command line in VS Code. So that's Control J on Windows or Command J on Mac, and then just run this command with me. Let's say node and then the name of our file, so server.js. Cool, hello from node. So this means we successfully just executed our node application. Awesome, but we don't want to just output a string of text. We want to build a web server. Now, there's no point in reinventing the wheel. There's already an amazing, unopinionated package called Express, and it makes it super easy to get a web server up and running with Node. So how do we get access to that package? How do we download it? Well, we're going to use npm node package manager. So first, let's set up sort of a grocery list that keeps track of all of our dependencies. So we'll say npm init-y. Go ahead and press enter. You'll notice that created a package.json file for us. And now when we install any third-party packages, this file will automatically keep track of which ones we need. So in the command line, now we can go grab Express. We can just say npm install express. Go ahead and press enter. Cool, and now let's go actually use it in this file to set up a really basic web server. So I'll get rid of this console.log line and let's pull in that package. So const express, I'm just making up a variable name and setting that to equal, and then require in, and this is how you pull in the third-party package. So its name was Express. Now on a new line, we can access this. So we just want to create a new instance of that. So let's create a variable. You can name it anything, but so we're on the same page. Let's name it app. And that equals just a new instance of Express, right? We're just calling Express. Okay, but now we have our app. We can tell it to begin by listening for incoming requests. So we can just say app.listen, and let's tell it to listen on port 3000. Now, before we save this file and test it out, let's set up 2 URL routes, right? So we would want the homepage URL route, but then we want people to be able to visit /admin as well. So we can say, and notice this is above the app.listen line. We're going to say app.get. So if someone sends a GET request, right, that's what happens when you just enter a URL into your address bar. A typical request is a GET request. And we're going to give this 2 things. So first we spell out the path. So for the home page, that would just be a /, right? Sort of the root URL, the home page. The second thing we give it is a function that we want to be executed when a request comes in. So instead of B, you could give it an anonymous function or an arrow function. Let's do an arrow function with 2 parameters, request and response. After the parentheses, an arrow symbol, and then curly brackets, we can drop down. Now, request and response are given to us by Express. So when Express calls this function, it's going to give us things called request and response. Request represents the incoming request that the visitor is sending to your server, and then response represents your ability to send back a response to that visitor. So for example, if on our homepage we just want to send back a little bit of text that says, welcome to the homepage, we could just say res, response.send, give it a string and just say, welcome to the homepage. Okay? Let's spell out a route for it when someone visits /admin. App.get for when someone visits /admin, comma, give it an arrow function or an anonymous function, but just give it 2 parameters, so request and response, arrow symbol, and just say response.send. This is the top secret admin page. Okay, let's go ahead and save this file and test it out. So in the command line, just go ahead and run node server.js. We're just running our node application again. Only this time, it's never going to stop running until we tell it to stop running because it's a web server, right? It should be up and running forever. So with that running, if you go to your browser and open up a new tab, and in the address bar, visit localhost:3000. Awesome, we see welcome to the homepage, and if at the end you add on /admin, as you might have guessed, this is the top secret admin page. So when it comes to the MERN stack and the MERN acronym, this is already the E and the N. The E stands for Express, right, which is just the web server package that we're using, and the N stands for Node, which is the language or runtime that we're executing all of this within. At this point, let's change gears and talk about the M in MERN stack, which stands for MongoDB. So our Express server is great at listening for incoming requests, right? So users can visit our different URLs. When they're on a page, they could fill out a form or type into a chat box, anything that website visitors do. And then our Express server can receive that request and then send back an appropriate response. That's great. But in addition to that, we need something that is persistent or permanent. We need a place where we can hold on to data forever. And that's where a database comes into play. So that's what the M in MERN stack or MongoDB is going to give us. So how do we get started with MongoDB? Well, there are about 10 different ways. So MongoDB offers a cloud service called Atlas. They have a free tier where you can sign up. They'll host your database in the cloud. If we were actually going to go live with our application, I would recommend this. However, for just our first simple project, this is a bit complicated because you would need to go in manually and allow your local IP address or add a wildcard, so on and so forth, just to establish a connection. So I actually think we should install MongoDB on our personal computer. Now, you could look up a tutorial on how to do that, how to install MongoDB locally, but I actually think the easiest way to do that is to just use Docker instead. Now, Actually and truly learning Docker is its own video topic, but the good news is that we can 100% leverage Docker in this video to get MongoDB up and running without needing to know basically anything about Docker. So follow along with me right now. I want you to Google for something called Docker Desktop. Or if you visit the GitHub link in the description of this video, down towards the bottom here, you'll see that I have various links, and one of the links is to Docker Desktop. Anyways, from the Docker website, just go ahead and download and install Docker Desktop on your computer. It's completely free, so go ahead and pause the video and then come back and resume the video once it's installed. Okay, so once you have